Hello, I'm your host, Yumehoshi. I'm not even gonna bother with a long intro. Look, I like Phineas and Ferb, I like Hatsune Miku, so I put them in a blender. It's as simple as that. Let's go. Since this is all about the character design, really it's more costume design even, I'm using a base. This is so I won't get distracted by other artistic aspects that aren't my current goal. Like, I know myself, even if I decided to stick to the anime-influenced art style, rather than bringing more dramatic shapes into this, I would still spend time deciding that this character should have a slightly longer torso, or thicker ankles, or shorter fingers. Hell, I'd spend so much time just picking out the hues of skin tones. And I just want to get the ideas out there. I can have fun illustrating these designs and playing around with stylization later. But because I'm limiting myself like this, it means that I don't have access to the primary iconography of these characters, the silhouettes. So instead I'm focusing on what I call fanon iconography. Basically, while a casual Phineas and Ferb viewer may not be able to recognize these Mikus as P&F inspired, hopefully somebody that cares an above average amount about P&F will. My best example to explain this is South Park fanart. There's a lot of South Park fanart out there that the average South Park viewer would not recognize as the South Park characters, but that those that spend time on AO3 would, because the fandom has given the characters new features to recognize them by. Anyway, so this is Miku Bella. Some noteworthy details: the heart on her tie is a cutout of the fabric, not on top of it. And while I really adore the tennis shoes in Isabella's design, I think it helps make her outfit feel like something a kid like her would really wear, I gave Miku Bella Mary Jane's instead. It's worth noting that these aren't Mikus dressed as these characters, they are Mikus representative of these characters. I feel very philosophical about anime girls. Anyway, next I did Ferbsune. They turned out perfect. But honestly, I don't think I can take credit for how well they turned out. Like, it's not my skill as an artist that made this so good. The concept is inherently divine, and I merely heard its call. Like, I want to wrap them in a paper towel and put them in the microwave. It would be so enriching for them. I want to feed them apple slices. I want to push them on the swing set. I want to watch Ratatouille with them. Next was Phineas Miku, who also turned out incredibly endearing. I made the striped shirt cropped and put a button up underneath to make it a little more interesting. I think the looseness of the shirt makes her seem more easygoing. I definitely snuck in bonus triangles, like with the shoelaces. A lot of people interpret the dots on Phineas's head as either being shaved hair or freckles, and even more commonly both, and I took great enjoyment in implementing these. The shaved style with these voluminous pigtails feels so contradictory in a way that's just, it's fun and silly. I love anime hairstyles that make no logical sense. One last detail, Phinsune has some green nail polish that matches with Ferbsune's orange. For Buford, I decided I'd have to make an exception and draw a new base. It just felt incorrect not to. Oddly enough, I struggled an irregular amount drawing this new base though. I think it's because I was thinking too much about the body shape underneath the clothes. And so I was just drawing a body instead of Buford, that is, Miku Buford's body specifically. I don't know, I figured it out in the end, so whatever. And the struggles did not stop there. See, upon finishing the lines, I was like, this is great, I love her. She's so incredibly cute, like I can't even. Alright, time to color. But you see, Buford has these stupid red shoes and no red anywhere else on his design, and it looked awkward to have this color here but nowhere else, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out how to incorporate it, so obviously the only thing I could do was go on a week-long vacation to another country without my pewter, and that shook my brain up enough that I knew what to do by the time I got back. Anyway, time for a girlfriend, Mikuchi. This one is kind of weak. I like her, but I feel like I could have done better. To be fair, Baljeet's outfit isn't the most distinctive. Anyway, for some reason I gave her huge eyes. Like, huge by my standards, huge eyes. I tried to make her more interesting by giving her braids and a math symbol motif, but I don't know if it was enough. In the end, her big ol' eyes endeared me too much for me to give it a redo. Maybe I'll try again if you guys have any suggestions of ways I can improve the design. Candace Miku is the only one I don't have a good nickname for. Mikudis? Kansune? They just don't sound that good. Fortunately, she does look very good though. This is another one where I had the vision from the get-go. The only adjustment made is I went back later to replace some pink bits with orange. Hey, where's Perry? Agent Miku was so fun to do. She looks so dashing. Though there was one thing missing. Something to make the ladies swoon whenever they hear her say, ooh. Her legs looked a little bare, so I added some socks and garter belt. It is at this point you can start to see me implement a new efficiency trick. When I'm using red lines or different color lines on the same layer as my line art, so that I can then just bucket tool and erase the black lines inside the red and change the red to black, and ta-da! Next, for the pet Mikus, I have a version with ribbons and a fluffy skirt and a more watered down one. Get it? Watered down, cause she's semi-aquatic. Crime-fighting mammal of action. Doofin Miku is another objectively weak design that won me over anyway by the time I finished drawing it. It is important that you know that the thing on her tie is a self-destruct button. Yes, I know, I'll be here all night. Oh, thank you. Originally I made her socks green, but later I fixed this, don't worry. I don't know why it happened in the first place. I already added purple to the color scheme, I don't know. Up next is the most detailed Miku of the bunch, and the one I would be willing to commit the most crimes for a figurine of. Ducky Momo Miku. Ducky Momo, he's your very best friend. Now, I like to stylize Ducky Momo's eyes differently than canon, and I did simplify the crown and feet of his design for the purposes of this drawing. However, he is still pretty recognizable as Ducky Momo, so no worries. My idea was just Ducky Momo Fangirl Miku. I got to think about the different types of Ducky Momo merch that could exist in universe, which I love. I love thinking of, like, merch ideas. Like this Ducky Momo Ito bag and the Ducky Momo sock. You can't see it, but she even has a huge plushie backpack. The only thing that's missing is some Ducky Momo plastic fans. I was already having a blast drawing all of these little details when I realized this would look great with pink hair as well. That's right, baby, we got a Sakura version. You know how with Ferbsune I'm like, I can't take the credit? With Ducky Momo Miku, I feel greatly accomplished. I feel like my IQ went up drawing this. Speaking of smartness, here's a tip. When you draw something with lots of details, but you want to make sure the big picture stays clear, you can use line color to help distinguish the details from the main subject. Next is Meepku. At first I did a Meep outfit on the regular base, but I figured that for Meepku I needed to make her absurdly chibi, which happens to be a strength of mine. I was taking a lot of inspiration from chibi drawings of blueberry sands, something so marshmallow-coated, something so excessively cute, that it's almost suspicious. I like how she turned out. She looks a lot like a vinyl figurine to me. Now, a close friend of mine, in fact, the same close friend that helped edit this video you're watching right now, shout out to Mario, my co-editor, he's fantastic, would be very upset if I didn't include Norm, so I had to do that. There are some characters I didn't get to and ideas I didn't get to, like Vanessa, Major Monogram, Carl, and I also had the idea to do Miku's based off of the various inventions. So if you guys want a part 2, let me know. Alternatively, you could suggest other fandoms I could draw Miku's for. Anyway, here's Norm Sune. She looks a bit like Jenny from My Life as a Teenage Robot, but I like that. Now, Candace Miku is very needy and gets lonely easily, so I had to draw her a Jeremy and Stacy Miku. For Jeremy Miku, I was inspired by Midwest Miku. I wanted for him to just look like a really chill guy. Stacy Miku ended up looking more like Stacy than Miku because I decided to use Stacy's hair color. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it, but honestly, the alternative, the teals would have blended in way too much, so. Next up, someone who just wants to have fun, Mikudana. Oh, she's precious. I really like drawing coattails, so I gave her jacket some. I was a little worried about the blues blending in, but I think it turned out alright. I love her eyes. Another tip, if you're drawing some simple anime eyes and you feel like they're a little too simple, try adding another color to the highlights. Miku Madam is low-key one of my favorites. She's gorgeous. One thing you'll notice all throughout this video is the different eye shapes, and I found myself particularly enjoying drawing these slanted eyes, which is kind of funny. Usually oval eyes are my favorite to draw, like my own. The biggest design shift here is that I gave her a transparent skirt to go with her, like, leotard. It looks very spacey, and more importantly, very sparkly. If Ducky Momo Miku is the one I'd want a figurine of the most, this is the one I'd want to see on stage the most. For the skirt, I used this holographic brush and played with the layer types. I use Clip Studio Paint, and one thing that's fun about that is sometimes I'll recognize brushes while reading manga. This star brush I used here is one of my favorites. I use it all the time. Next is Fireside Girl Miku. Now for this one, I got a little nerdy. I like how I say that as though this entire concept isn't nerdy. Like, I'm just a little nerdy right now. The rest of this was very, very unnerdy. I gave her a badge with a troop number on it, and some of the badges on her sash are inspired by ones seen in the show. This one may be on the simpler side, but I think she turned out really well. We are almost at the end, gang. I decided to make some second dimension Mikus. Second dimension Kensune was fun. She has some sharper eyes and her iconic sunglasses. Ferbsune and Finsune are just as endearing as their originals. Ferbsune is so incredibly capital B3 coded, and I love them for that. For Mikuborg, I took great delight in the anguish. I made these areas of revealed human skin so that you can imagine the metal being melded directly on top of it. I love Periborg because the implications are so incredibly wump, and it's just never addressed. It's just this unspoken tragedy in the background. For second Doofin Miku, I made her hair neat instead of messy and give her some dramatic gloves and shoulder pads that I think help sell the vibe. I did give them a goatee. You may have noticed I am not consistent on these Miku's pronouns. I feel like, much like the idea of a magical girl or even an anime girl in general, it's less important that the character is a girl and more important that the character is girly. What about tomboys? Well, it's simple. You see, there's like a flowchart of qualifications for whether or not something can count as a quote-unquote cute anime girl. For starters, you need an anime-influenced art style. Next, in the circumstances that the character does not identify as a girl, they must have a substantially feminine presentation. And in the circumstances that the character does not present feminine, then they must identify as a girl. Simple. Simple as that. This is all to say that the Mikus inspired by male characters can be referred to with any pronouns. Anyway, we actually have 2 more bearded Mikus, because I decided to create Miku Handle. Daniku ended up looking like a mix between a drag king and Baby No Money when he colors his beard, but I kinda love that for her. They're also absurdly orpal. Rhythmless Miku, I gave her the stubble to make her seem a little more, like, rugged. I kind of really like Rhythmless Miku. I'm not sure why, I just think she's neat. Bobbiku is probably the weakest of the bunch, but at least their glasses are pretty distinctive. And more importantly, with that, we have done it. Or well, I did it. You guys just watch, but it's like a little sibling watching a video game being played. You are present in some manner, and you get to take secondhand pride from it. Oh my gosh, we're done. Low-key, I really want to make merch of these guys. Some acrylic keychains, perhaps? Making merch is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. In fact, I already have these keychains designed. I just don't have the customers in order for me to be able to start selling without risking losing money. Yay! So if you'd be interested in those, you should let me know in the comment section or over on Tumblr, where you could also let me know your favorite Phineas and Ferb song, the new Miku figurine you got, or how you feel about the recent TADC episode, and I'll be delighted to receive this information. If you liked the video, be sure to like the video so I know you liked the video and can make more videos like it. Lastly, thank you so much for watching, have a lovely day, and be sure to stay silly.
Oh, and look, there's Perry! And scene.